Okay, so in this lesson we're going to be talking about odd functions and even functions. Okay, so what are even functions and what are odd functions? Let's start by considering even functions. So even functions. Even functions. What are even functions? Well, here's an example of an even function. Let me draw this. You're going to have to excuse my drawing. I'm not very good with drawing on the computer. So let's say this is y is equal to x squared. This is an example of an even function. So the rule for an even function is that the function of the value, the x, is equal to the function of the same value, the same x, except it's negative. Okay, so this is the rule for even functions. And what does this rule really mean? Well, let's have a look at an example. This means that if I pick a number, let's say 3, so let x be 3, then the function of 3, because it's x squared, will be equal to 3 squared, which gives me 9. Right? But if I take the negative of the x value, so minus 3, now remember this is x squared, so it will be minus 3 all squared. It also gives me a 9. So that's what this means. The function of the positive is equal to the function of the negative value as well. And the idea here is that it's split in half around the y-axis. That's the even functions. So how about odd functions? What do they do? Let me see if I can write this better in capital letters. Odd functions. Take a bit more time to draw this. Hopefully it will look a bit better. So what is an odd function? An odd function is, an example is y is equal to x cubed. So the rule for the odd function is f of minus a is equal to the minus of the positive function. Now be careful here. This is a little more tricky than the even function. This basically means that if you take a negative number, a negative value for a, it should be equal to the negative positive function of a. So let's do an example. Let's say I take the function of 3 again. This gives me 3 cubed, which is equal to 27. But if I take the function of the negative 3 here, put it in the x, it's negative 3 cubed. This gives me, well, remember negative 3 is minus 3 times minus 3 times minus 3. Minus 3 times minus 3 is 9, times another minus 3 gives me minus 27. 9 times minus 3 is 27. So minus 3 times minus 3 gives me 9. 9 times minus 3 gives me a minus 27. So here, what we can see here is that when we take the positive number, the function of the positive number is to 27. But when we take the negative number, then it is equal to the same value of the positive number, except it's a negative. So it's a negative of the positive value. So when we take the negative function, it's equal to the negative of the positive value. So here we can see that it is an odd function because f of 3 is equal to, f of minus 3 is equal to minus f of 3. So this is minus 27 here. It's equal to minus, and f of 3 is of course the 27 here. Okay, and this minus 27 comes from here. This is that minus 27. Alright, so let's do a couple of more examples here just to make sure we understand each other. Let's move up a little bit, and let's take a different color to do example 1. So example 1, show, bear with me a moment, a little bit of a slip. Sorry about that. Show that, well, more slip. Just hang on, I'm just not used to this stylus. Let me just rub that off. So, show that y is equal to x squared is an even function. Now, I can put numbers in, but if I show that it's true for one number, it doesn't mean it's true for other numbers. So in order to show that it's true for all numbers, let me use a general rule. Let me use let a be any number. So if a is any number, then f of a under this rule is equal to a squared, because y is equal to x squared. So what about f of minus a? Well, f of minus a is equal to minus a all squared. But these two end up being the same. So therefore f of a is equal to f of minus a. And that's this rule here. So we can say then that therefore y is equal to x squared is even, or an even function. Okay, now let's do an odd function. So let us try a second example. Let's say show that y is equal to x cubed is an odd function. How do we do that? Again, we can't use actual numbers, because actual numbers will give us that particular example, but it doesn't apply for all numbers. We don't know it applies for all numbers. So again, we need to use a general rule. So let a be any number. So we're going to let a be any number. So now we want to find the function of a. Now remember, y is equal to x cubed, so then this is just a cubed. We want to find the function of the negative value, minus a, so then this is minus a all cubed. This is equal to minus a cubed. And you can see here that these two are not the same. F of minus a is equal to minus 27. Oh, sorry, minus a is equal to minus a cubed. But f of a is equal to a cubed. So what we can say is that f of minus a is equal to minus f of a. In other words, just bear with me a moment. In other words, what we can say here is that if I take f of minus a, it's going to get me minus a cubed, which is equal to, now f of a is equal to a cubed, so that's a cubed here. It's going to be equal to minus f of a, and this is true, so this function must be, therefore y is equal to x cubed is an odd function. And that's all we have time for in this lesson. I'll see you next time.